Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm beyond excited for what I'm about to share with you guys. I had just a vision about what I kind of wanted to do going forward. And I'm just very, very, very excited to share it with you. Bear with me 1 second. We gotta. I do also want to just take a moment and recognize you all for being here. It's a big commitment and I appreciate it. I know that 6 o'clock Mountain Time is certainly not the best time for those of us in Mountain Time, but trying to be respectful of a lot of you on the East Coast as well. Going forward, we'll try to keep it in this 6 to 6:30 time range. You know, I'm making a commitment to do this. I think you're making a commitment to do this, and I think you'll be happy. I think you'll be very happy that you did. So, but I want you to know how much I appreciate you doing it tonight, and I hope that it gives you value and that you'll do it going forward. It's a huge. It speaks volumes to your commitment to your business, to yourself, to what you're trying to do here. So recognize yourself, pat yourself on the back. I can see you all. Do it. There you go. Nice job, everyone. I want you to know that I am completely committed to this entire process. You have me 1,000%. I am totally committed. I want to elevate my situation. I want to reach the highest heights that I can reach. So I'm in here with you. I'll be doing all the work. I'm reading, I'm doing the homework, I'm doing it all. I'm making myself do those things I don't want to do because I believe that it's gonna grow me and it's gonna stretch me. So just to kind of give you an idea, you guys are all in the Elevate group. So I kind of want to give you an idea of what the heck that means. I asked you, are you ready to elevate your experience, your ability, your commitment, your paycheck, your impact? And you all said yes, and so you're here. So I kind of want to tell you what that's going to look like going forward and what you can expect. So bear with me 1 second. I got to get my, again, with the technical craziness. Okay, so what you can expect is, I'm just super excited. I'm putting together a series of offerings for you. So for 2018, every month, I will have a different opportunity for you. So that would be excluding July because we'll be at Crush, and it will be excluding, at this point, October, November, and December for very obvious reasons. If you just joined us and you're not, you don't know about OND yet, you will. So just get ready. But so I don't think it's appropriate for us to be putting our focus anywhere but right straight in front of us during those months. That might change as we go forward, or I might find another opportunity that I think will fit well. What you're going to find in these offerings is it's not going to be your typical, like this right now we're doing Get Over Your Damn Self, which is, very much a direct sales book, speaking very directly to what we do. Going forward, it might not look like that. Going forward, it might look like a self-help book, or it might look like an investigation into your art self, or it might look like, it's going to take on, and some of them might look like direct selling opportunities. A lot of them will be leadership opportunities because that's kind of where we're focused, right? I believe in the depths of my soul that if we grow as people, if we grow our minds, we grow our hearts, we grow our spirits, everything about us will grow. Everything about us will change. So I believe in my heart that it will change your business. It will change your world. It will change your experience in the world. So my hope is to offer you a more sort of holistic experience in the whole deal going forward. So let's see. What I have found in my experience is that when I'm uncomfortable and I'm pushing myself to do things that, like this, PS, that feel really uncomfortable to me, that's when I experience the greatest growth. And so that's what I'm going to ask of you, is that you be willing to push yourself and go places that feel really uncomfortable for you. And that might be an assignment that I give you to share in the group. That might be looking for a pacing partner. That might be, yes, daring greatly. I love it. That might be, I mean, who knows what that will look like, because everybody's level of comfort is different. So I respect your level of comfort. And I respect that when you show up in a place and you do a thing, you're doing that to stretch yourself. I'm not going to be taking, test notes or judging you in any way. This is about you. This is intrinsically about you. And my hope is that I have enough offerings for you that you feel challenged and pushed. So here's what you can expect. I already said all that, but going forward, again, I'll be offering monthly opportunities. They'll be presented by industry experts or experts in their own field, whatever that field is. What that might look like is you can expect probably a kickoff call. The kickoff call for February is the 30th. So be sure to mark that on your calendar as January 30th. That will be the kickoff call for what we're doing in February. That particular one will have 4 meetings. So we'll have 4 Zoom calls that will last 1 hour, and you'll be getting the information on the dates. There will be homework in between, again, meant to challenge you and push you. Going forward, it might not look like that. Going forward, it might only be 2 calls. It might just be 1 call. It might just be a lecture. It might, so be somewhat open to what you might expect. But in February, that's what it's going to look like. And again, those dates will follow. I do want you to know that and I sort of already said this, and so I've got a script, I'm sorry, but I can't just do it all off the top of my head. So if I repeat myself, forgive me, but this is not a get to director in 30 days. I see somebody asking when is Brene Brown coming? Girl, please, I wish, right? Oh, girl. I've told you guys before, I listen to her books, so she and I are like besties because she just talks to me all day. This is not a how to get to director in 90 days situation, okay? It's what I said. It's more of a holistic approach. I think anyone who commits to this and who really, really participates, you're going to promote. I feel confident you will promote if that's what you want, right? One of the things that you might find out in doing this is that isn't what you want. You might find out this isn't even the business you want to be in, and that's fine. My goal for you is to find out what it is you want and get that. I want to help you get that, no matter what it looks like. It's not going to work out if you're feeling like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. So my hope is that you will be able to identify for yourself, what the heck is it that I really, really, what do I want? What do I want, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. And then, so what do you want? Not what your spouse wants or your partner wants or your mom wants or your kids want. What do you want? Get selfish. So I want to make sure I did this right. So I'm going to open it up really quickly. And if it gets really loud, I'll just mute you because I can tell where the noise is coming from. So what I'd like to know is, we did that little exercise last week, and it wasn't meant to be a deep thought exercise. It was meant to be sort of let me just get started on this thing. And it was to write your mission statement. So I just want to kind of ask, does anybody want to share the mission statement that they wrote using that little template? Uh-oh. I'm muting it. There we go. Raise your hand if you want to share it, because I can see you. And if you can't raise your hand, send me a note and I will call on you. Oh, Gina, that's my girl. Okay, Gina, let's hear
it. I will inspire others using my enthusiasm, motivation, and creativity to accomplish a more positive world in order to achieve happiness and financial security.
I love it. So did you feel like the exercise sort of drove you into a deeper place for you thinking for yourself? Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. So again, it's no, just if you don't know who Jack Handy is, oh, good for you.
Lots of
Um,
noise.
if you don't know who Jack Handy is, you're not old enough, but he was an old Saturday Night Live skit, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. So it wasn't necessarily meant to make you to go super, super deep. Some of the stuff that we do will make you do that. But good. I'm glad that it kind of opened you up a little bit. Carla, I saw your hand go up, so I'm going to unmute you, and we have a couple seconds. Yeah.
You're going to kill me. I was actually waving hi to Gina.
Oh,
Forgive
okay.
me.
Okay.
I wasn't in last week for the mission statement, so I didn't know about that.
No worries at all. No worries. I will go ahead and mute you. And then did any other hands go up that want to share? Or, okay, that's fine. We got plenty to do. Good. So thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate you being willing. So this first offering is a book that I just recently found, and I have found it profoundly easy to read. I'm about halfway through, partly because I've been getting ready for this call, so I couldn't spend time reading it. But I've also found so much truth in the book. It's a great book for our industry. I love the way that she just sort of puts it on the table, right? And she says, here's what it takes. Are you willing to do that? If the answer is yes, let's do it. If the answer is no, put the book down and just go away, walk away. And there's no judgment in that. There really is no judgment in that. This actually, the remaining title is to build a life-changing business, the no BS blueprint to building a life-changing business. Life-changing businesses don't happen when you're only halfway participating, right? They're only going to happen if you're 1,000% in. And she recognizes that you can have your own measure of success, and maybe your business is still life-changing for you at any level. She's very clearly talking about a 6 to 7 figure income. And if that's what you want, you got to do the things that she's telling us to do. I love that about her. I love that, again, it's not about judging. It's not about, well, you suck if you don't, right? It's really about that. Don't waste your time. This is just going to make you feel like crap, right? If that isn't what you want and you're reading this and you're not doing it, you're just going to feel terrible about stuff. So that's nobody's goal. Nobody wants that for you. The first thing that really struck me, and the thing that you guys, a lot of you who've known me for a long time, have heard me say is, you got to be coachable. So she asks, that you say, I am 100% coachable, but you got to really be coachable. You got to really believe that. And I've said that for a long, long time. If I reach out to somebody who has gained success in my eyes in something, and I ask them, oh my gosh, what did you do? How did you do that? And they tell me, I'm going to do it. Maybe that makes me not that, there's this inference that if you just do what you're told, you're not really thinking or whatever. Part of me wants to say I'm inherently lazy. That isn't true. I'm actually not a lazy person. Okay, I mean, housekeeping, yeah, totally. But not in the world, not in business, not in my relationships, not in, things like that. I'm not lazy, but I also don't feel a need to reinvent anything. It's there. There are so many people, especially in our industry, who've been successful that are more than willing to share their tips with me. I'll pick up a book, whatever it is. I'm going to do what they tell me to do. Why do I think I'm different or special? I'm not. If they could make it work, I can make it work. So what I want you to do when we get off the call, I'm going to be giving you 4 different little assignments. They're little, but what I want you to do after this call is I want you to go into the Elevate group, and I want you to make a post. Make it your own, however you want, with a graphic or a GIF or words or word swag, whatever it is that you want to use, and make a post that says, I am 100% coachable. And share that with all of us, because then all of us can keep each other accountable. And when it feels like you don't want to do something and somebody says, hey, that's what they said to do, you can remind yourself, oh yeah, I said I'm 100% coachable. So I believe that from the bottom of my toes, that is absolutely step one. So presumably you're here because you want to build a life-changing business. So presumably also we are all on the same page with being able to say, I'm coachable. So we've all decided that we're coachable. So the next question is, are you willing? Are you really willing? Are you willing to do the hard things that are going to get you to the place that you want to be? Because it's going to be hard. And some of you already know that it's going to be hard. It's not always going to be hard, and not everything will be hard. And not all the hard things will continue to feel hard, but it's not going to be easy. And you're going to have to be willing. So there's this measure of letting go of another term that I love to use that I've heard a lot, letting go of your limiting beliefs, right? Being open to what the possibilities are, and being willing to shut up that voice in your head, because it's all in your head, right? It's all in your head. All those voices in your head, all of those old, if you're old like me and you grew up in the 70s, they called them your tapes. Those tapes that play in your head over and over that tell you you can't, or you shouldn't, or it's not right, or it's not proper. You got to be willing to shut all that down. You have to, in order to make this work. You've got to be able to shut all that stuff off. So are you coachable? Are you willing to do the hard work that's going to make a life-changing business? So again, this just reiterates one of the things that Romi talks about is that this business isn't about skill. It takes anybody can learn a skill. This takes a mindset. And that's what all of this is leading up to. This being coachable, this being willing, this openness, this being able to take direction. This is all about your mindset. And again, shutting off those tapes and things like that. So, I sort of have a mantra that a lot of you have heard, some of you haven't. It's really what I believe, what I can look back and I can say, and again, you guys, I got a long way to go. So I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, I know everything. I don't. I'm learning with you. I'm learning right alongside you. But I do know that I saw a difference in my business when I did these things. I made a decision. I made a conscious decision that I was going to make my business work. Along with that decision, I decided I would do whatever it took. I would do whatever it took, whatever anybody asked of me to make my business work. And then the other thing that I did, and a lot of you have heard this story, is I decided to do it for 1 year. This is in my previous business. I decided to do it for 1 year, no matter what. No matter what. The most important thing I did after I made the decision, created my action plan, agreed to do whatever it took and agreed to do it for 1 year, is I told my husband. And what I did when I told my husband was, and at that time we shared an office, and it was brutal. I mean, I love him, but it was brutal. But he was on that wall and I was on this wall. So we were back to back. And so he doesn't do a lot of phone work. His work is all on the computer, and he's got like 18 screens and all that. My work was on the phone. My work was always on the phone. So he would have, his earbuds in a lot, but he would hear me, moan and, make all these hideous noises and put my head on my desk and be like, oh my God. And when he knew that it was getting to be too much, when he knew that I was on the edge. And if you know my husband, like he's not a touchy-feely dude at all. He would just very quietly and very gently say, has it been a year? And I'd be like, oh, no, right. And so what that did was it held me accountable, not in a punitive way, not in a mean way. It was just a reminder. Oh, has it been a year yet? Oh, yeah. And then I could snap out of it. So it didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter what came in front of me. It wasn't a year yet. Right. So once I did that, and in all honesty, in that business, I sort of reevaluated every year. But it was a year. It was a chunk of time, because I don't think you can tell anything in 3 months, maybe not even 6 months. Right. So I would like you to decide if this is what you're going to do. Pick a time frame. When I joined Via One Hope, I said 10 years. But that's how sure I was. That is how damn sure I was that I was in the right place. This was for me. This was going to feed me. So I said, I'm in for 10 years, no matter what. I'm in. So it doesn't have to be 10 years for you. I mean, who knows what will happen in 10 years? For me, it was 10. Maybe for you, it is 6 months. Maybe it's 12. Maybe it's 18. But I'm telling you, it's such a good tool for you to use. And then you got to tell somebody. Who are you going to tell? You can share it in the group. We can hold you accountable. You can tell your partner. You can tell if you have a pacing partner, tell your pacing partner, but tell somebody, because there are days that you can't talk yourself out of that crap. There are going to be days when you're like, I'm done, forget it. And you might not be able to talk yourself out of it. Tell somebody so they can talk you out of it. And again, it's going to be somebody that you trust, that you love, that you know has your best interest at heart, right? So now I'm moving on. Share it in the group if you like. If you're not comfortable, that's totally fine too. So remember that Romi says, life begins and keeps expanding at the edge of your comfort zone. So the goal is not to feel comfortable. The goal is to feel uncomfortable. That's where the magic happens. That's where all the good stuff comes in, is when you feel uncomfortable, when you're like, dude, this is not for me. This is not for me. I am so scared to have this phone call. I am so scared to call that person and say what I need to say. Hi, see you, Tracy. Hi. Brass tacks, non-negotiables. You've got to make a commitment. You've got to be willing. You've got to be coachable. And then you've got to tell folks. The other thing that Romi talks about that I love, and you'll notice I'm just kind of hitting through some of these chapters. I love what she says. A closed mouth is a closed business. You got to talk to everyone. And, that might be annoying for some of your friends and family. It is for mine. Mom, seriously? Do you have to talk to Yes, I do. Yes, actually, I do have to talk to everybody. And they're just used to it now. I always tell, like, at church, when we get out of church, they literally go, give me the keys, because they're just going to the car, because they know they got another 30 minutes of me, blah, 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 blah. But I talk to everybody, and I talk about my business, and I talk about my offer, and I talk about my why, and I talk about our impact. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to get it out there. I love this. I wrote this part. It's super good. It says, a closed mouth is a closed business. That means no matter if you're at Disneyland or the doctor's office, at the beach or at the bar. Boom. I like that. You got to open your mouth and share what you have without hesitation or judgment. Don't decide for anybody if this is for them. Ever, ever, ever. The only exception, there's one exception, and that would be an AA meeting. Do not share this at an AA meeting. It is inappropriate. So the other thing that, we talk about all the time is finding your why and finding your why. She talks a lot about this, and really what you'll see probably in the coming months in the offerings that I have for you, that's a pretty common theme. The reason it's a common theme is because it is imperative that you know what your why is. Again, it goes back to those rough days, those days when you're tired and crabby and you don't want to pick up the phone, or you don't want to get on a Zoom call because, whatever. You got to make a commitment, and you got to do it. And when you don't feel like it, it's your why that's going to get you there. Okay. So you guys have all heard about that. I love in the book when she's talking to Maria, and I think Maria says, oh, it's to pay for my kids' school or whatever. And she's like, really? And she pushes and she pushes and she pushes and she finally gets down to the core of what Maria is really doing there. I really encourage you to do that. Use that exercise. I am going to tell you that, bear with me. Oh my gosh, look, I printed this twice. Hang on. There we go. All righty. It says get into action, and it talks about how to create your why. I have asked Tammy and Gina to share their why. So Tammy, I'm going to tag you first. So Tammy is reading the book. She followed the process that she talks about. that Romi talks about in the book, and she wrote her why. So Tam, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and share that with us, and the speaker is on for you, my friend.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Yes, my why in smaller terms is to pay off debt. I mean, I think we all share that, right? But I really want to be able to give my husband the retirement that he's already earned.
Mhm.
And I want to have that residual income so that we can travel and we can do the things that we want to do. He should have retired probably 8 years ago, but we have 2 girls going through college, we have debt. I want to be free of that, and I want to be able to double the income that I currently have so that we can live comfortably, where we can say, we're going to go to Sedona and we're going to get lost. Come back when we want to come back. That's the ultimate goal, to have that freedom. Travel is very important to me. He's traveled the world already. I haven't, and I want to do that. Currently, and I think I'm not alone when I say this, that many of us are working to live, right? We're just making ends meet. We're barely getting by. We don't have the cushion that we want. I want to be free of that. I want to have the freedom to make the decision to do it what we want to do when we want to do it and not have to plan a year in advance. We are constantly tapped out. And I think we can all, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that many of us live up to our income, right?
Yeah.
And I want to get away from that. I don't want to be ruled by the job. I don't want to be tied to the desk because I work nonprofit. We don't make oodles of money. I love what I do. I love giving back. I want to continue to do that. I've always been about that from the time I was 20 something. I was all about caring for other people. I don't want to stop doing that. So that's why this is perfect for me. And it's comfortable. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I think anyone who comes in contact with me can see that when I share that. I want to explore. I want to wander. I want to have adventures. That's more than my why. But in the further questions, and I don't know if you want me to answer that or not, but
Yeah. I mean, answer what you're comfortable answering. I think what you've done already is amazing, and I want to acknowledge you for being vulnerable and really, really opening up, because I know that it's hard, and I want you to know that I appreciate it. And certainly share more if you like.
I think that in talking about where we will be in 5 years, if I don't change now, I'll be here, chained to the desk. We're only getting older. We'll be comfortable in living inside of our box. And we are relatively young. We are young. I'm 50. He's a little bit older. We have much living to do.
Can I stop you for 1 second and ask you, because I feel like I got the hook, and it feels to me like that one piece. If I look ahead 5 years, if I don't make these changes, if I don't dig deep and commit and do, this is where I'll be. And I think what I'm hearing is that's your why. That's your why. That's what's going to keep you going when you don't feel like doing the next thing, booking the next tasting or whatever. It's the thought of, holy hell, I do not want to be tied to this desk in 5 years. I want to be in Sedona, right? So I don't mean to interrupt, but man, that
No,
hit
that's
me.
fine. I mean, and that's true. And it's different from everybody, but for myself, I have a wandering spirit, right? I want to be a nomad. I want to be a gypsy. And I can't do that right now. And
Right.
that doesn't mean drop off the grid. It
Right.
just means having the freedom to say, throw the dart at the map. I mean, that to me is a dream.
Amen.
Let's go explore.
I love it. Awesome.
You
Cool.
know, people joke around, but if I could have a tiny house and drag that around behind me, I'd be thrilled. It's true. It's true.
No, because you're tiny. Okay,
No.
listen, again, let me acknowledge you just for sharing it. That was
All right.
brave, and that's the kind of stuff it takes, right? That's the kind of stuff it's going to take to get where we want to go, is being willing and being brave and putting ourselves out there. So I just really want to thank you for that. And then I'm going to try to figure out where my, there we go. I'm going to put you back on mute. And then Gina, I am going to unmute you. So why don't you go ahead and share your why with us.
Okay, I kind of already put it out on the website, but we had 5 layoffs in 4 years, a few years ago. I'm gonna cry, man.
Well, yeah, that's part of the deal, man. Sorry. Not my goal, but apparently that's part of the damn deal.
Yeah, that added to a huge hole of debt. And then I think most of you know that we have boys who were adopted from Guatemala. And my youngest was neglected by his foster mom before we got him. So he came with a hell of a lot of challenges, needs a lot of therapy and tutoring and all sorts of other treatments just to make our lives less chaotic. And of course, none of that was covered by insurance, and it all just had to be done. So we just kept putting things on credit cards because it had to be paid for. So I am trying to climb out of a hole of debt, stop living paycheck to paycheck. I would like to travel. In the process of this whole experience, you know, I have 2 master's degrees, but I wasn't able to work. I had no confidence in my abilities, and I felt like I was a failure as a mom and as a professional and literally in everything I did. So I'm trying to get all that back. So that's my why.
You are getting it back. I've known you for a fairly long time, not well. I've certainly known you better in the last year, and I see a different human being. I see a different woman in front. I'm going to totally cry, but I see a different woman in front of me. And so I think you can incorporate that into your story. And maybe it's not, you know, it can be part. I'm not trying to tell you what your why is or anything like that, but I mean, I feel like that almost can be moved into your story. You have found confidence. You have found your spirit. You have found your purpose. You're an amazing mom. You provide for these kids, and you went into debt for it, for God's sake. That makes you an amazing mom. So I'm wondering if you might think about how that might look in your story, because we're going to talk about your story in a minute. But you have an incredibly compelling why. And I know that that's what drives you. And I watched Gina go from, and always has been a lovely, delightful, fabulous woman, always, ever since I've known you. I met you way, way back. But I watched you. I watched you change. I watched you flip. And I watched you say, you know what? BS, this is for me, and I'm doing it. And I'm watching you do it, and it's phenomenal. Like, it's phenomenal. So
One Hope has just been such an amazing blessing for me, and I can't thank you guys enough for giving me this opportunity.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And you know, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being, again, vulnerable, putting yourself out there, because I'm telling you, if you look at the chat roll, you're seeing what people talk about. Thank you so much, because everybody has a compelling reason for doing this. And I think if we went really deep, you'd see a lot of tears. So it took a lot of guts for you to do that, and I appreciate it. So Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, I should tell you, going forward, you might want to grab a tissue. We do the calls. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The other thing that I think it's important for folks to know and understand is that your why is going to change and evolve as you change and evolve. That's why I was just saying to Gina, right? I almost feel like she can take that confidence piece and roll that into her story. That girl is confident. If you've ever seen her, if you've ever watched her, if you've seen what she's done in the last year with her business, that's all about confidence. So just be willing to always be kind of looking back at it, reevaluating your why. Is it deep enough? Is it strong enough? It is going to change. It is the more money you make, the more it will change. Woo! Okay. The next thing that Romi talks about is the list. I'm going to touch really lightly on the list because we all know the list, right? We talked to you about that when you very first joined. You need to make your list, and we call it your Frank list or whatever. The reason I wanted to bring it up is I love her prompts. Her prompts are so good. So I really encourage you to go through, where is it? I really encourage you, here it is, to go through her list of prompts to make your list. You've all heard it. You've all heard about the list, man. The list is your life. That's it. That is your living, breathing document. That is your business right there. This is what will move you forward. You make this list and you keep changing it and you keep adding. And when you recruit somebody, you put a new person on. When you create a customer, you put a new person on. That list is never, ever, ever ending. So that's really all I wanted to say about that. The other thing that I wanted to challenge you to do is I want you to think about, if you don't have a list and you're getting ready to make one, or if you have one, who's the scariest person on your list? Who is it? Tell me who it is. Post in the group. This is the scariest. I mean, I totally have like so many scary people on my list. I'm not going to call her today. I'm going to call that lady from the party who said she wanted to join, right? Who's the scariest person on your list? Let us know. And then let's all make a commitment to reach out, because what is the worst thing that can happen? What is the worst thing that can happen? They say no. Okay. Well, I didn't think you were going to say yes anyway. What's the best thing that could happen? The best thing that could happen is they go, actually, I've totally been thinking about this. Or, and what I love a little bit later in the book, and I don't know, it depends on where you are on the book, but I love the way that she presents. She says, you always open with the opportunity, because you can back down from the opportunity. If you offer for her to buy the product and she says no, well, oh, how about joining my team? Really? So always start with the opportunity, and then you can work backward. You can work back into being a customer, being a host, and then the very last thing is giving referrals. So what's the worst thing that can happen is they say no. You didn't think they was going to say yes anyway, because that's why they're scary. So put that scary person on your list, share it in the group, let us know who it is, and then be brave and reach out. Do it. Reach out. Okay. Be brave. It's like it says right there. Be brave. Talked about all that. Okay. The last thing that we're going to talk about is your story. So your story is different than your why, right? Your story is going to be short. It's going to be, the point of the story is to get across why you're doing it in a really quick way that's compelling to other people. So it's short, it's concise, and she gives us four directions on how to do it. Is who you are and where you've been. Where'd you come from? How'd you get here? What's happened in your life to cause you to look for something more? We're all here for a bigger reason than selling wine and making money. Every single one of us is here for a much bigger reason. So what's happened in your life to cause you to look for something more? How did you hear about the company, and why did you want to be a part of it? And what is it doing for you, or what is it going to do for you? So 4 really simple points to create your story. You guys hear me talk all the time. My former company was all about storytelling. I'm a storyteller. I love to hear other people's stories. Wine is a story. There's a story on the back of the bottle, right? Every bottle has a story. Every person at that wine tasting has a story. You have a story. Tell your story, make it compelling, make it brief, and connect. So Lee Heckler, wherever you are, Miss Lee Heckler, I'm unmuting you. Lee's going to tell her story. So we can get, and again, she followed those 4 steps. So we're going to go ahead and let her tell her story so that you can kind of hear what it sounds like. She's practiced it. She's written it. She's living it. All right. Hit it, Lee.
Okay. So I have not practiced it a lot because, I struggled today with some of my homework. But so my story starts back in 1998. I was a stay-at-home mom that was looking to have some, I guess, adult interaction at night. So I got involved with direct sales. But I journeyed through several companies looking for something. I don't know what it was. I just kept finding a different company. The last 2 years, I was retired from direct sales, and I was working out in the retail industry as a sales rep, still in the same type of work in sales. But my main company went bankrupt in December of 2016, which left me with a lot of time and a part-time job at the time. I came across One Hope in the fall of 2016, but at the time I had the 2 jobs, so I was too busy to do anything. February of 2017 was the Sip and Share in Philadelphia. I couldn't go to it. And then in April, One Hope was in my chiropractor's office doing a fundraiser for the Laurel House, which was domestic violence organization locally. I knew nothing about what One Hope was, but I knew it had come across my desk 3 times. So I said to the girl, we need to talk. I need to know what this is. And she called me that night. I actually think I blew her off for one night, and I talked to her the next night because I was like, oh, this is kind of scary. And then when she told me about the wine and charity, the charity is really, really what hit me. It was something giving back. And I signed up the next day. Never tasted the wine, never went to a party. The charity just drew me in. And, looking back now, I really think I was just looking for something these past 20 years that had meaning, something for me, that I was doing something important.
I love it. What is it? Would that be what it's doing for you, or what it's going to do for you? And that's great if it is, but I wonder if there was a little piece more to that.
So I feel that, with this being something meaningful for me, it's going to propel me to treat this more like a job and to be able to make an impact in my family's life financially.
Awesome.
Because the other, direct sales, the people that are on this phone call that know me, they know I've done everything. And my husband has even said to our accountant, we're like Walmart. She sells everything. But I don't now. I just give back for wine.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, Lee. And I know you had a hard day. Today, Lee was working on her why. So as you can see, it's hard.
It's scary shit.
It's hard. It's hard. So I appreciate you again sharing. Whenever anybody shares, or whether they volunteer, or whether I say, hey, I volunteer you as tribute. It's big. It's a big deal. So I appreciate it a lot, Lee. Thank you all. Everybody who shared tonight, I really appreciate it. And going forward, you're going to all have more opportunities to share. So, my fourth sort of ask of you is, as you are comfortable, as you are writing, as you are feeling more willing and able to share, if you would share your story in the group, that would be amazing. You'd be amazed at how inspirational. You guys know, because you've been listening, right? And you're moved and you're inspired and you think, oh gosh, I could say this and I could say that. If you were willing to share your story in the group, I would ask that you do that. I think you'd be amazed at how many people you'd be helping when you do. So that's kind of it for tonight. I'm going to open it up here in a minute for questions. I just want to remind you, I've given you 4 opportunities to participate in the group. This group won't work without participation from everybody. So I'm really hoping that you guys will kind of share kind of what you've experienced tonight. Use one or all of these opportunities to post in the group and talk about it. Don't forget to join us for the kickoff on January 30th for the February offering. You're going to be blown away. I had a meeting with the woman today. I am beyond excited for what's coming. I'm stupidly excited. So I am going to, where do we share in the group? Well, if you have been accepted into the group or if you've sent a request in the group is Elevate. So you need to request entrance into the group and then you can share in that group. Anywhere is fine. Just make a post and say, hey, this is my why, or this is my story, or whatever. With some little trepidation, I'm unmuting you now. And if you have questions, now is the time. So does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes, Carla.
Yeah, this time my hand's for real. Sorry. I know. Hi, Gina, again. I want to make sure I have right all 4. The one is about posting, the 100% coachable, the conscious decision. Is the third one the why? Is the third the why?
Your why, your story, and
right.
The scariest person on your list.
Oh, the scariest person is number 4. All right. Thank you, love. Appreciate it.
Sure. Anyone else have anything they want to ask or add? Gina, I want to, and everybody who shared, I want to make sure you really go through that chat roll because there was a lot of beautiful props to you there. And I know that some other folks posted some stuff, but I can't manage both. I got to look at one thing and that's it. So I'm going to go through and read all of that. Does anybody else have anything at all? A question, anything to share? Any major aha moment that you might have had tonight? Anything at all? Yes, Carla. 1 second. I got to unmute you.
Okay. Do this for 1 year. When you said do this for 1 year, that just went right through me. Good. Like making a timeline commitment. I've been saying where I want to be in 5 years, but if I could really just focus on hard at it, nose to the grindstone in 1 year, you know, not even where will I be, just do the work every day, 1 year.
Blinders on.
You got a great husband.
Head down, focus in, man. I'm telling you, it'll change your whole experience. Cool. Good. Yes, Gina, I do think we'll be growing old together. All right, friends, I am going to go ahead and turn off the recording. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm stupidly excited about where we're going and what we're going to see in 2018. And I'm honored beyond the telling of it for all of you to be with me doing it. Look at the baby. All right, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And have a good night. And I'll see you in the group.